Y'all remember the dude from the Suicide Squad who had the funniest death in the entire movie? What if I told you that that death was just one of the most recent entries in the running list of joke appearances in the 40-year existence of the character Arm Fall Off Boy? Yes, that is his name, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Arm Fall Off Boy, government name Floyd Belkin, is exactly what you're thinking. His arms come off, and he does things with them. And guess what, ladies? He's single. Now, to be fair, in the Suicide Squad, that's not actually Arm Fall Off Boy. He's an original character that is based off of Arm Fall Off Boy. But the unfortunate fact is that his appearance in that movie is probably exactly how a live action appearance of Arm Fall Off Boy would go. But don't just take my word for that. Let's go through Floyd Belkin's limited, and I mean limited, appearances in DC Comics. Floyd's first appearance in DC Comics appears in Secret Origins issue number 46 back in 1986. This whole series was just a bunch of origin stories for a bunch of characters and groups within DC Comics, and during issue 46, we followed the original Legion of Superheroes, Cosmic Boy, Saturn Girl, and Lightning Lad in particular. Now in this comic, they're looking for a clubhouse for their HQ, not only for the team, but because they have tryouts today for new heroes to join. But no one wants to sell to them or even let them use their space because of boring things like land value and what would the neighbors think of teenagers living next to them. Just unreasonable. So they decide to hold tryouts in the public park, and our boy Floyd Belkin wastes no time in introducing himself. Greetings, Legionnaires. The time has come for you to meet Arm Fall Off Boy. My power will astound you. Observe as I detach my limb and transform it into a deadly weapon. Die, villain. Yeah. I can't do a good 70s cartoon voice, but I'm doing my best. I love the fact that he just plops his arm on their table and then is like, where do I sign? I need that type of confidence. And look at his face when they reject him. He's holding back the tears for sure. As soon as I saw that panel, I knew that this guy was going to be one of my favorite Glupshittles of all time. Just look at him, man. Poor guy. And that's it for Arm Fall Off Boy in his first appearance. He shows up, proves that he is superior to everyone else, and then they reject him out of fear. Also, the girl that tries out after him is insane. She literally just removes a child's memory of how to get home, like for fun. It's a weird comic for sure. Anyways, we next see Floyd Belkin in the Legionnaires comic series, where he has 3 different appearances, with his first coming in Legionnaires number 2, 6 years after his first appearance. And trust me, it is the most underwhelming appearance of them all. So Legionnaires 2 kicks off after issue 1, where the Legion are in a heated confrontation with Mono, and Ultra Boy is already slumped. We don't care about any of that shit though. We're here for Arm Fall Off Boy. Basically, the Legion takes down Mono, with Inferno being peak, and then they're back at their HQ. And outside of their walls, for some reason, there are like hundreds chanting that they want to try out for the Legion. And amongst the crowd is our boy Floyd Belkin. Oh, that's it. That's all there is of Floyd in this issue. Just one panel where he's shown in a crowd of people. We could talk about how there are hundreds of people that wanted to try out, and they only really interviewed like 3 of them, with Inferno fat shaming one of the girls who's not even fat. But I'm way more taken aback by the fact that our king was only shown in one panel. That's just disrespectful. We don't have to wait too long for our king to return though, as in 1996, in Legionnaires issue number 43, Floyd Belkin reappears for a much longer, yet just as embarrassing appearance. So, surprise, surprise, the Legion is holding more tryouts. I'm sure you know where this is going. So the Legion actually runs through the entire group of heroes trying out this time, and they have a group of finalists that they want to put through a final test to see if they are really cut out for the team. And of course, amongst the finalists is our boy Floyd Belkin, Arm Fall Off Boy, or his new name, Splitter, which just isn't as cool. It seems now that Floyd can do more than just detach his limbs and swing them at people, as we can see him shaking someone's hand during this panel. He can actually make it float and move on its own, so that's peak. So during the final test, the Legion sets up an ambush where someone enters the tryout chamber and starts spraying and praying. This round you die, fools. No one will join Legion. I will kill you all. And you know, Floyd becomes the joke again. Yeah, So Floyd becomes a useless body while the other heroes figure out how to stop this guy. And in the end, he is one of just 2 finalists who end up not making it onto the Legion. Poor guy. Now, we don't actually have to wait too long to see Floyd again, as just 6 issues later, he makes a very brief appearance in Legionnaires number 49. And guess what? He's not failing a tryout this time, though he still is getting disappointed, of course. This issue begins with the president of the United Planets announcing the return of Mordru, who just destroyed Skylar, killing billions. And he also bitched the Legion at the end of the previous issue. Like he had them right there to kill, and bro was like, nah, I want y'all to survive so y'all can go back and tell people what I'm about. Just a menace, man. So clearly he's a big threat, and the president is making this announcement to try and rally heroes to join the fight against Mordru. And amongst the planets hearing this call is the planet Layler, home to our king, Arm Fall Off Boy. And while other planets are trying to figure out what they're going to do to help join the fight, Arm Fall Off Boy is once again sidelined. This time because he is a part of the heroes of Layler, who are the only form of protection for this planet for some reason, even though there's only like 5 of them. Doesn't make sense to me. And of course, Gas Girl just has to remind everyone that Floyd fucked up his tryout with the Legion because we just can't bring him up without mentioning his failures. So we go a long time without seeing Floyd as far as I know. But in 2008, a comic series based off of a cartoon that was running at the time called Legion of Superheroes in the 31st Century finally got us our next entry in the Floyd Belkin failure list. And it comes in issue 16, where we get a whole story based off of the main man himself. And it's actually somewhat wholesome. So we start off with a page showing Floyd's birth and showing how traumatizing it would be to experience his powers as a newborn. I know if my newborn's arm just slid off of his torso and the baby didn't even flinch, I'd probably faint. Then we jump to present times where unfortunately he scars a woman for life and gets kicked out of the library. And he has a really sad walk home and just lays on his bed, ignoring his mom who is trying to call him for dinner. Now, the 3 Legion members in this issue are Brainiac 5, Cosmic Boy, and Phantom Girl, and they've got their own stuff going on in this issue as well, but fuck them. We're here for Floyd. But I will mention that Starfinger is watching those 3 very carefully and is planning an attack soon. Back to Floyd, he is looking through a photo book that for some reason has only his failures in life. Like how much of a screw up do you have to have a scrapbook of failures? And why do you even have that? Now, Floyd's big dream is to become a Legionnaire, and while laying on his bed, still ignoring his mom, he decides he's going to go see them right now to prove that he's worthy of a spot and that everyone who's doubted him is wrong. It would help that he has both of his arms when he goes to do this though. Floyd, you know, if you're going to run away from home, you might want to bring your arm with you. Thank you. So somehow Floyd gets to the Legion's headquarters just as they touch back down from their mission. And he tries to ask them if he can apply to become a Legionnaire. Now, the Legion didn't even seem to realize that he was even there at first, but by the time that they notice him, Starfinger has made his appearance and he fucking nukes them. Now, that's what I'm talking about. At last, the perfect finger accessory for the already perfect fingers of Starfinger. That's right, I said it. Now, like in any other piece of media with explosions, no one is even mildly injured by it. So Floyd's like, don't worry, y'all, I got this, and chucks his arm right at Starfinger. Everyone's perplexed. Starfinger is looking at the arm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? This panel for some reason reminds me of Wander Over Yonder. And then Floyd pulls out a 1000 IQ move and punches Starfinger while he's confused, and it knocks him out cold. Power scalers, get on this man. I think he might be stronger than Popeye. Now, after the fact, the Legion still manages to get his name wrong, and they tell him that tryouts aren't for another few months, which just sucks. He just saved your life, and you can't even get his name right. But Phantom Girl seems to notice how poorly they just treated him, so she runs after him and catches up to him and lets him try on the Legion flight ring. Something to let him know what it feels like to be on the Legion. And he thinks it's cool, but we're forgetting who we're talking about here. This is Mr. Negative Aura, you know, always fumbling around the huzz. I'm sorry. I don't even talk like that. So the flight ring allows you to fly. So what happens when you put it on an inanimate object? It probably starts to fly. So when you put it on a detachable arm, it just flies away. And she's she's just over it. Maybe I should. Yeah, it's getting late and I probably better head. Yeah, I think I'm going to go now. I think that's for the best. Obviously, a massive fumble for Floyd, but he's still really happy about the experience. So happy, in fact, that he talks out loud to himself like a lunatic while standing in line waiting to get on this bus or whatever he's getting on. This child right here is probably thinking, huh, so that's what ketamine does to you. Either way, his arm finally comes falling back down to the ground and it lands right on his head, because of course it does. But this is a really nice story for Floyd, and honestly it's my favorite because it's the only time we see him in a positive light. But his last appearance is just back to the regular. In 2019, Issue 9 of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen was dropped. And in this issue, Jimmy is trying to live as normal of a life as he can, which it's never normal with him, but he's covering Candorland, an amusement park made from the ruins of a Kryptonian city. And apparently a viral video of Floyd Belkin's arms coming off while riding one of the roller coasters has been making waves online. And it's gotten people thinking of how we can keep this from happening again. Because if a man with detachable limbs can't ride a roller coaster without his arms falling off, nobody should be able to. So Star Labs and Swamp Thing with a Cuddle Time t-shirt have some sort of straps that are supposed to help with this problem. We'll never know because Perry cut off Jimmy before he could finish. But we do get to see the rest of Floyd's family, who are just a bunch of other people who lose different body parts. That's just great. And then there's their dog Elmer's, like the glue. It's symbolism for how pets bring families closer together. That's that's it. But yeah, that is the last time that we have seen Arm Fall Off Boy on a comic book page, and he was presented like a spokesperson for Viagra. So that's great. He does show up quickly in the 2023 Legion of Superheroes animated movie, but that's it. That's all we have of Arm Fall Off Boy. I swear there's a lot of potential for this character in a serious situation and not a gag. His powers and how they've been used already show some pretty good versatility, and if there was an actual project based around him, basically pushing the limits of what he could do, that would be pretty cool. I'm thinking a live action movie, a TV series, a video game. I actually think a video game would be perfect for a character like this, because it would be along the lines of kind of like how the mage hand works in Baldur's Gate 3. I know, random reference. I'm just playing the hell out of that game right now. So real talk though, we need a whole Arm Fall Off Boy comic series. Hire me, DC. I'll write it. When does he hit public domain? Just wait until 2086. See what I cook up. And trust me, I'm keeping the original name. But yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Let me know what you plan to do to cherish our precious king Arm Fall Off Boy. Let me know if you even heard of this character before TDK showed up in the Suicide Squad. I 100% think that it would be worth looking into this character for at least one serious run, just to see what you could do with this character, because he does have tons of potential in my opinion. But yeah, if you like what you saw here, hit that like button, subscribe for more like this. If you want to see something else wacky about comic books, go check out my video on Marvel or my video on the great Captain Confederacy series. Either one of them, they're both great. They're both 10 out of 10s, but check those videos out. You won't regret it. Yeah, man, just support the channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.